All right, welcome to another edition of MH Corbin Tech Talk. This is Ryan Tudor. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have regarding our products. I'm trying to put together some videos to help customers understand how our equipment works, what's the proper method for installation, what part numbers you need based on the vehicles you have, things like that. So to get started today, we're going to talk about our distance measuring instrument, or our DMI product. So what I wanted to show you, first thing here, is I've got our lineup set up here left to right, and I'm going to go through what each one is, the part numbers, how they function, what they do, and what application you may need these for. So let's get started. Okay, let's start off with the number one thing. You want a distance measuring device. You're trying to measure distances. So before these devices were available to the general public, people used to use a wheel, and they would actually roll a wheel down the road. A guy's wearing a vest, something like this, and he's trying to stay out of traffic and not be hit. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to give a much safer option where the person doing the count is actually in their vehicle. So that's what this whole product's for, is to increase safety for our customers so they don't have to get out and put themselves in harm's way by standing in the road or walking down the road trying to get a distance measurement. Okay, so to start off with, we have and build the Nitestar DMI. The Nitestar product's been around for a very long time, and it's a very rock solid product. If you've ever seen one of these displays, it's going to look like this. This is the latest model. It actually says MH Corbin on it, Nitestar DMI. Or you could have one of the first generation models, which was made by a company called Nitestar, which we acquired over the years, their whole product line. So this is where the product originated from. It came from Pennsylvania, is where Nitestar was originally based out of, but it's the exact same product. So I wanted to give you a comparison here. If you've got a Nitestar DMI versus an MH Corbin Nitestar DMI, they are identical. It's the same thing. Okay, move right along. If you wanted to purchase a DMI kit, there's a couple components you're going to need. The first thing is the display. You have two options here. One's the 4005 or 7000-4005, which is called the NS50 display. And the second option is the 7000-4010, which is called our NS60 display. Now, we get questions like this all the time. I wanted to show you side by side what the difference is. Can you spot the difference? I'll show you the N. This is this N with the data and power port. And this is the NS60 data and power port side. No difference there. Let's go to the other side. Is there anything here? No. Is there anything here? No. How about the bottom? No. Okay, let's flip them over. This is the 50 and this is the 60. So the only difference you'll see here is this one doesn't have a sticker on it that says NS60 and this one does. So physically, they are identical. Internally, they're a little different. Let me show you why. The NS50 is the standard display used for 90+% of the sales that we do for distance measuring. Years ago, we had the option to give you a different type of harness interface. So let's say if you want to hook it to your computer or something along those lines, you would need the NS60 model to accomplish that. The NS60 gives you a provision to use this part number, which is called the 7000-4140. And this is an RS-232 download cable. And really what you get inside the box here is a special adapter. It goes from an RJ11 on this end to the serial adapter on this side. So that's pretty much what we have. And the cable that hooks to it, if you'll notice, it's just a standard telephone cable, RJ11 on each side. And the way this works is you plug it here in the data port. So you basically plug this in here like so. And there you have the cable plugged in there. The other side will plug into this device like so. And now we can hook this to our laptop, computer, whatever you want to do to actually obtain information through this method would work. Because of all the new programs available now and apps on smartphones, this option is not as popular as it was years ago. So for that reason, the NS60 doesn't sell as much as the NS50. The NS50 is our #1 seller. If you see a DMI kit, typically it's going to be an NS50. The NS60 would work in a standard NS50 application. It just gives you this provision to have this cable and hook it up. While this cable would plug in over here, it wouldn't function properly in an NS50. So that's the biggest difference between a 50 and a 60. Physically, they're the same. They look the same on the outside. The price point is a little more on a 60 just because it has those advanced features in here for this cable to work. But a lot of times we'll get questions, what's the difference? How does it work and why? And this is the difference. The NS60 supports the RS-232 cable connection, and the NS50 does not. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is how do you mount the display? If you'll notice, this doesn't look like a very easy way to mount it, but we accomplished that with a nice lightweight bracket that we have here. This bracket has a longer ledge on it on one side, and it's for the display to fit on it just like so. Okay, now how does it stay attached? Glad you asked. We provide pieces of Velcro in here with double side tape on one side. The way it works, they stick together just like that. So you'd actually put one piece here on the Nitestar and the opposite piece you would put right here. So that way your display would stick on there. Very easy to attach it and remove it. And then to attach it to your dashboard, same kind of thing. We give you extra pieces here, one on the bottom, one on your dash, and then you can put it anywhere you want to go very quickly and easily, attach it to your vehicle, and remove it later if you needed to. So that's how you would attach the Nitestar display into a vehicle. We provide this bracket. It comes with every display, whether it's a 50 or 60, they both come with the bracket and the Velcro. Okay, next on our list today, we have different interface cables. And over the years, we've had different methods to install the Nitestar display into your vehicle. Each one has a specific application. And what I'm gonna do is go through from left to right, from the most popular down to the ones that just aren't used as much anymore, and I'll explain why. So the first one up is our OBD cable kit. And the OBD is the diagnostic port on any 96 and up vehicle. So what we're talking about here is the OBD2 cable. We have two pieces that come in the box. The part number is 704178. It's called the OBD2 interface and adapter kit, or also called the vehicle data translator kit. We give you two cables in this box. One is the actual OBD connection. So you'll see it's a female connection that plugs into your vehicle. It's got an MH Corbin serial number assigned to it. And this end has the RJ11. Now the way this works is this plugs into the power outlet on your NS50, like so. So with this setup, you plug this in your OBD port and it would power up and work. Let's say you have a vehicle that the OBD port points straight down at your leg. So having this cable in the way is not going to be very comfortable. We actually give you an adapter cable. That's what this cable is. And all it does, it attaches like so. And now you can actually put this into your vehicle, and it's a right angle adapter. So it moves the cable away from your leg. That's all it does. Its only function is to give you a right angle adapter to move the cable so it doesn't point down at your leg. And it gives you a little extra room so you can run the cable and hide it behind the dashboard or around the front of the console, wherever you have it in your vehicle. But this is how this particular application works. Now, a few things to talk about with the OBD cable. This only works in 96 and newer vehicles that have the OBD2 port. Prior to 96, 95 and older, it's called the OBD1 port. It may look similar, but it does not do the same functions. So you need to have a 96 and newer vehicle for this to work. From there, up until around the year 2017, this was our go-to cable. It worked in every application, Ford, Chevy, Dodge, Toyota, Nissan. This was really the cable that worked very well. So this is what we would recommend 90% of the time. However, around 2017, 2018, a lot of manufacturers changed how they send data through this port. because if you know, in 2008, the CAN bus system came on board and there was a lot more information being shared in the vehicle's computer system. So around 2017 or 18, some things changed, and this may not trigger properly because it's looking for the output speed sensor and is sending that signal to the DMI. That's how it counts. So what we recommend, if you have a vehicle from 96 to 2017, this is the cable. This should work, no problem, plug it in and go. Pretty easy to set up. However, if you have a 2018 or newer vehicle, we recommend the DMI Pro. So anything that's coming out nowadays from the factory, we have this kit, which is called the DMI Pro. And it looks a little different for the interface. This was a very simple, just a one cable and adapter interface. The DMI Pro is called the 704180. And this kit actually is two different devices in one. You have an OBD adapter, which is this cable, which looks very similar to that one. It's actually got the right angle built into it, so you don't need the adapter in between anymore, and it plugs into the box. Instead of plugging into the display, the DMI Pro has a lot more advanced features. So here's the box, and I'll just plug this in so you see what it looks like. So that goes to OBD2. It actually labels it very well, tells you which is which. And then you have your display cable here, which is the orange one. This would plug into here, like so, and this end would plug into your Nitestar display. And again, this plugs into the power port, like so. So there's your OBD and your display. Now the next option, I told you had two different inputs. You have OBD, you also have a GPS antenna kit that we send with it. So here's your GPS antenna. This would mount externally to your vehicle. It is a magnetic style mount that we give you with it, and it plugs in like so. So that's all you need to make this unit work. The power comes through the OBD port. It powers everything up. Your GPS antenna has a signal that comes in, and it'll count from the GPS. You also have a signal from your OBD port from the vehicle speed sensor. All that data gets sent through to the display. You'll notice inside your kit, you have an extra cable. And this is a cigarette lighter / 12 volt adapter harness. And what this is designed for, let's say for example, you have an older vehicle and you don't necessarily have an OBD type of function. Well, you can actually unplug the OBD from here, so you're not using that cable anymore, and you simply plug in the cigarette lighter adapter to that port. This now allows you to power this box without an OBD port. So you just plug this into your 12 volt or cigarette lighter adapter, and you're basically running just on GPS at this point. So this would work in a lot of applications, 96 back, any older vehicles, 80s, 90s models. This will work very well with just the GPS feature by itself. But if you're looking to use the OBD, one thing to clarify here, CAN bus technology came out with the OBD cable. So that's why this cable looks different from this cable. And just to let you know, these cables are not interchangeable. So the OBD cable kit is specific to this part number, and it does one particular function. The cable we give you for OBD in the DMI kit is different because in 2008, the manufacturers came out with the CAN bus technology. And based on that technology, this is the type of cable you need for this box to work. And so the cables are not interchangeable. If you have a DMI Pro, we give you an OBD cable that goes with this particular box for it to work. Just a little clarification there. Also, if you're using the OBD with the DMI Pro, it only works on 2008 to newer vehicles. Anything prior to 2008, you can't use the OBD connection here because this is set up for CAN bus, which didn't exist prior to 08. Okay, so hopefully that explains between a OBD2 cable and a DMI Pro. 96 to 2017, this cable is perfect. Anything after 18, the newer vehicles, I recommend the Pro, which is just a better option. But with the Pro, you have the option to just use the GPS portion, and then it'll work in pretty much any vehicle. You give it a 12 volt signal, you got your GPS here, and you can go out and get your counts. Hope that answers questions on those two types of cables. Okay, the next interface that we have, this was a very popular interface for many years when there were external output speed sensor or vehicle speed sensors on a transmission that we could tap into. This is called the SS10 Kit. And the SS10 Kit consists of two part numbers. You have your interface adapter, which is the actual SS10 box itself, which is this white box. And then you have the SS10 cable package, which is all the cables you need to hook that box to your vehicle. One of those is the power cable here. This plugs into the display for power. The other end goes down, so it plugs into the SS10. And then this cable kit is your power wires that go to your battery and all. So that's how this works. This is a box that's been around for a long time. It has electronics and basically a divisor inside that when it gets a pulse from the output speed sensor or the vehicle speed sensor, it sends that pulse into this box. This box can then be adjusted to calibrate it to what your vehicle needs based on tire size, based on gearing in the vehicle. This was a very popular choice for many, many years. Unfortunately, around the 2016 to 2018 timeframe, a lot of manufacturers went away from any external vehicle speed sensors. So where this used to tap directly into the vehicle speed sensor wire to get its trigger, you no longer have that option. All the newer transmissions is now an internal sensor. So unfortunately, this box is not as effective as it was years ago, just because there is no external signal. A trick around that is you can actually use this to tap into the ABS brake system. So for a few years, we recommended tapping into your ABS signal off of one of your wheels. You could take the trigger wire and go through here, and as the vehicle moved, it would actually do the same thing and it would count. Instead of the transmission, you can use your ABS sensor. The problem is, as vehicles became more advanced from 2018 and newer, if you take any signal off of that, the CAN bus detects it as there's some kind of problem, and it may throw a check engine light, or it may throw a wrench or something where the car may go into limp mode. So because of that, this may or may not work in every application. So I always come back to, this was a great piece when we had external ways to trigger it. Without that, with the sophisticated cars, this may not be the best choice anymore, just because it may trigger a check engine light. It still works very well. You just need to be able to trigger it when something moves around. It can be a wheel, it can be a drive shaft, something like that. I'm gonna scratch that. Okay, so this is how the SS10 kit is. You have 7,4085 and 7,4094. Both of these numbers need to be purchased together when you get an SS10 kit. Okay, one of the last connections here is called the proximity sensor, and it's part number 704176. Now what comes in this box is interesting. You get a universal set of brackets here, and I'll lay them out here like so, and then you get this sensor. And the way this works, the sensor is designed to point to something that's moving. So it can be a wheel, it can be a drive shaft. Typically the drive shaft's the most that most people use, but it's got to look at something that actually has a rotation or is moving to get your count. This device works very well, and it's probably the most affordable of all the installation kits. However, it does require some custom fab work by the end user installer. We do give you universal brackets here to make it work. However, these have to be bent and configured and mounted in a way that's perfect to your vehicle. We have instructions that come with it, and they talk about the depth of the sensor, how far away it has to be for it to work properly and trigger. And the problem we see with this one is, while it works very well, you can put this on anything. It can be a car, a truck, a tractor, a lawnmower, a go-kart, moped, anything you want, you can put this on, actually measure distances with it. It's not specific to a vehicle. The only difference is, however you mount your bracket has to remain solid and consistent, because if your bracket can move out of the way, it can affect how this is being triggered. Other than that, this is probably a very popular choice because it's the most affordable of all the technology that we sell. The DMI Pro being the most expensive, the proximity sensor being the cheapest one, and everything else kind of in between. You got your cheapest, which is your proximity sensor for price, then it goes to your SS10, then it goes to your OBD, and finally it ends up with your DMI Pro, which again, this is two kits in one that has your OBD connection and your GPS connection. So this is our nicer, higher end installation, very easy, plug it in and go. By comparison, while this is a cheaper price to get this type of installation, it does require a lot of labor and shop time. So if you can do this yourself, great. If you hire a shop, just understand there's probably going to be some expense there to have this installed in your vehicle and the cable run. What I don't have in this setup here is the 7000 4150 or 4150 install kit. It comes with every proximity sensor. It's a separate box, and all it is another wiring harness and a terminal strip that allows you to take this sensor and plug it in and have an easy way to tap into where you go to power. So that's part of the install kit that goes with every proximity sensor. So every prox sensor is going to get part number 7000 4176 and part number 7000 4150. Good afternoon, this is Ryan. Can I help you? Yeah, so I have your OBD cable here and I hooked it up and I drove around the block and it's counting, but it doesn't seem to be accurate. It's off. Why would that be? Go into calibration. It should already be on 1000. Oh, so I need to calibrate it? How do you do that? So if you haven't marked off a course yet, like our instructions say, to get an accurate measurement, you can go out and drive and it'll actually capture distance for you right away. But to be extremely accurate, you need to mark off a 1,000-foot course and then start and stop the test from the beginning to the end of the 1,000-foot course. Whatever number pops up in the calibration display is your number. So it may not be 1,000, it may be 976 or 981 or 990. This all depends on the gearing of your car and the size of the tires. Other than that, 1,000, the normal calibration will get you very close. But if you're trying to be as accurate as possible, mark off a 1,000-foot course, go out, do your test, and then you'll know exactly what the calibration number should be. Well, I'll do that, and it should be more accurate. Oh, it will be accurate. Okay, everything else works. I can see the mile per hour, I can see the distance in feet, so that works in my 1998 Ford F-150 by plugging it in. But I've noticed the cable sticks out near my leg. What will I need to do with that? Oh, in the kit there's an adapter cable. Okay, I'll try that. Thank you. Good afternoon, this is Ryan. Can I help you? Hello, tech support. I just drove around with my new DMI Pro kit with the OBD cable connected for power and the GPS antenna not hooked up because I just wanted to use the OBD and it's not counting, it's not working. Oh yes, I'll be happy to help you if your distance measuring question. So, you have a 98 vehicle? Yeah, you cannot use the OBD cable kit with a 98 with the DMI Pro. The DMI Pro is designed for 2008 and newer CAN bus type of systems. Oh, what year's my vehicle? My vehicle's a 1998 model. Oh, so this doesn't work with pre-2008 vehicles. So a 2008 and newer has the CAN bus system, and that's what this is designed for. So to make it work in my 98, what do I need to do? Okay, you can use the GPS option only. Just hook in the cigarette 12-volt lighter adapter that we gave you into the OBD port of the little interconnect box. Plug it into 12 volts, and on the GPS, just hook up your antenna externally. Make sure you have a steel vehicle so the magnet mount stays in place. It has to have a clear view of the satellites. Once it locks in, you're ready to go. Sometimes it's instantaneous, sometimes it can take a few minutes. Hook up the 12-volt adapter cable to the OBD port, okay, and use the GPS only. So I'm using my cigarette lighter adapter and I plugged it all in. I'm trying to find out, how do I calibrate this thing? What do I need to do? But once you put it in, there's a calibration code you need to put into the display. It's 435. This is listed on the last page of your operation manual, but just put it in 435 and hit enter, and then when you drive away, it should be very accurate, ready to go. If you have a 2008 and newer, you can use the OBD cable and get your counts from that. But anything older than 2008, you can only use the GPS feature. Oh, it's in the manual. So set the calibration to 435 and hit enter. Okay. And once I do that, that's what I need for this kit. So calibrate at 435, hit enter, and then drive away, and it should start counting immediately. Okay, wonderful. I'll try that. Thank you. Okay, you're welcome.